It's just one of those things where people are kind of stuck into like the old pricing, and inflation's real. Like everything goes up, and so does mortgages, and so does rents, and so does property values. So one thing I do like to tell those clients is I can get you to $1,500, but not right away. I was paying $2,700 on it. I sacrificed for about a year and a half, and then I refinanced. And when the rates went down, and now I have a $1,700 payment. Nobody pays that for a house, especially not a house like that with a pool, with a lake, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So again, I'm a big believer that once you purchase, you can better your situation instead of when you rent, you have no control over it. Whereas your mortgage, you have a lot of options to actually control your payment.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Rent, you're basically in the control of.
Yeah. I mean, how much money? Think about it. If you've been renting for how many years in your life? So you would have already been halfway through a mortgage.
Yeah.
The Icon Estates, the Julimar Barreiro Show. Behind the scenes of Florida's most exclusive deals.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. Today we have a special guest that you guys never really seen, but he is usually behind the camera, and his name is Daniel Castillo. He is actually my videographer. So, when I met Daniel, he was filming music videos and other types of stuff, and I kind of brought him in to record me to the real estate world, and then it just happens. Now he records everybody in real estate. So I'm pretty sure he has a lot of insights and questions that he's going to want to ask. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I have questions. I film realtors just about almost every day. Thanks to you. I'm always thankful for the opportunity.
No, thank you.
Bringing me into the real estate world. But I have some controversial topics that I hear. I talk to so many realtors and I'm always like, I wonder why, and I have questions. So.
All right, well, ask away.
So one of the first questions that I get is sometimes some realtors come dressed professional. The other ones come a little raunchy. I'm like, and I always hear them complain like, I can't look like this in front of the image. I have to keep a professional image, but at the same time, I believe it sells if you're beautiful and you use your beauty to sell. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it's a very interesting topic. I've been in the industry for over 10 years, and I've seen a lot. There's people that have been in the industry for a lot longer, but when I was at EXP and I had, a lot of agents underneath and I was constantly surrounded by agents, one of the biggest things I would just, tell female agents was don't expose too much. Yes, it sells. I'm not going to lie to you. So, men will go through there, but what exactly are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell a house, or are you trying to sell a little more? And my question, but the reason I say this is because then I also hear them complaining that a lot of males call them, and some are serious and some are not, and I get it, but I feel like for me, I've never run into that. Like, I've never run into a male that is trying to hit on me or is trying to fake the buying transaction. I've never portrayed myself like that. So I think it's a lot how you portray yourself.
Yeah, I see that because I hear it more often. I hear that guys will come in, start trying to buy a house, but they're not really trying to buy the house. They're trying to buy the girl.
Spend time with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're gonna come across if you got your boobs out or you're wearing a short skirt. It's kind of like one of those things where like you're asking for respect, but you're not really asking for it because you're showing something completely different. And again, a lot of this is culture, I believe. There's a lot of females that just, I don't know, like to dress like that. It was okay in their previous career or in their countries or whatever, so I don't have anything against it. It's just, I've always also been kind of a tomboy. So now with time, I've become more, okay, like I'll buy the dresses and I'll buy this and I'll get here and there, I'll get sexy things, but I don't wear my sexy things to work.
Yeah.
I'll wear them to go out. That's just the way I see it.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I see it, I hear it, and I'm always like...
You hear the complaints, too.
I hear the complaints.
Like, they're wasting my time. Like, listen, I have a friend, and I love him. I met him through real estate, but he's actually a model, and he's actually a male. But the same thing happens to boys, and to males. And he's like, oh my God, this lady just wasted my time. I went to show this house and he just she just wanted me to meet her daughter. I'm like, well, bro, what are you're half naked on half your posts. Yeah. And then he did a story where and I told him and I called him out on it. I'm like, you don't want people to reach out to you, because of you want them to reach out to you because they want to buy a house. But then you're posting a story on your underwear cooking eggs. Yeah. And then you're like, and then you see the comments, he's like pissed. I'm like, well, why are you pissed? This is the clientele that you have, and you're not teaching them any different because you've always been a model. So I get that. But if you're going to use the same aspect of that, then you need to better your image. I haven't really seen him like that anymore. So I think he got it. But again, he's not going to be, I don't know if he's going to be doing real estate or not for long, but it happens to females as it happens to males. It's an image thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's a question that I wanted to know because like I said, I see it so often. Most of the realtors are beautiful. They work on their personal image. Every time they go anywhere, they look drop down like they're going out somewhere, basically. So, but it's still a home. It's your image is your image. So
yeah, I mean, and to be honest, I've worked on my image as well too. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good and you just need to know when to expose it. I go to the dermatologist and I travel, and I travel all the time because I have acne. A lot of people know that, and it's hard to control it. So I have to travel, and I spent money on my image, and that's completely fine. I'm just saying that there are times and places where to expose your body parts. Let's just put it that way.
Got it. So try to look professional and beautiful at the same time.
You can be sexy and professional, but I just think for me, and again, a lot of people have different opinions, but I think elegant could be very sexy as well. There's different ways to be sexy. It's not always showing something.
I agree. The next question I have is, for a person, do you recommend them to buy a new house or a used house, or is it preference? Like, I see all the deals. I filmed so many new houses with you that I hear them and I'm like, man, a lot of people can walk into a house with almost no money. As long as you have a decent credit score, you can just kind of walk into a house nowadays.
So I guess, like you said, I think it's just preference. And the reason for that is because, like, I've bought one new construction home my whole life that I lived in. I have one new construction that's a rental. But I tend to like older homes just because of I don't know, you could just say the character, maybe. The floor plan's a little different. I feel like a lot of new homes have the same floor plan, just like very little different twitches. And then maybe it's because I'm a realtor, but I see a lot of houses a lot. I show a lot of houses every day. So for me, it's like when I'm showing a Cali from D.R. Horton, or when I'm showing an MI home, I just forgot the name of the model. They're very, very similar. There's a very small difference between the models. And then I'm thinking, well, if I buy here, I have the same house as 15, 20 other neighbors. Just for me, kind of weird. It is kind of weird. I liked how back in the day, like in the 70s, there were a lot of different floor plans, or maybe a lot of different builders in one community, like where I live right now. Every home is different. And I like that. I like the uniqueness of an older home and then being able to just do whatever you want. But honestly, it's just preference. As a new buyer, I'll definitely usually recommend a new home just because it's less maintenance. Especially if you just came out of renting a property, you don't really know a lot of maintenance in properties, then you're going to save a lot of money buying a new construction home. You're not going to have to maintenance it as much as an older home that things are going to start breaking down with time. So again, it just depends on the situation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. For me, I love the new homes. I don't know why. I love them.
Well, I don't know when you're actually going to buy. I've been hearing this since we started. And you're in a better position than a lot of people. So
I completely understand that. I remind myself that all the time, every night, and I'm going to 100%.
And you've seen when you started with me to now, the prices have gone up at least $100,000.
Yeah, no, you can't get a house under $300K. I had a friend call me the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I'm looking for a house in Orlando, and my budget's like $250." You want a shed?
Yeah.
You want a shed in downtown?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like last night I had a conversation with a client, and he said, I want to pay $1,500. I'm like, straight up the bat, I'm going to tell you that's not going to be possible. And unless you're putting a significant amount of money down, or we're going really, really far, you're buying like a 2.2 or a 2.1, like something that you may or may not like. So it's just one of those things where people are kind of stuck into like the old pricing, and inflation's real. Like everything goes up, and so does mortgages, and so does rents, and so does property values. So one thing I do like to tell those clients is I can get you to 1,500, but not right away. You know, it's just like the story I was just telling you when I bought that, my older home that it's an Airbnb now. I was paying $2,700 on it. I sacrificed for about a year and a half, and then I refinanced. And when the rates went down, and now I have a $1,700 payment. Nobody pays that for a house, especially not a house like that with a pool, with a lake, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So again, I'm a big believer that once you purchase, you can better your situation. Instead of when you rent, you have no control over it. Whereas your mortgage, you have a lot of options to actually control your payment.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Rent, you're basically in the control of.
Yeah, you're paying crazy money for rent.
Yeah, you're paying crazy money for rent. I mean, the biggest one that I always remember is just you're throwing it away versus.
Yeah, I mean, how much money? Think about it. If you've been renting for how many years in your life?
10. I got out of the military 11 years ago, so 11 years.
So you would have already been halfway through a mortgage.
Yeah, I remember finding a house in Maitland, I think 10 years ago, and it was like 130,000. That same house is like 500K now.
Yeah, inflation is a real thing, and the market's only gonna go up. You know, we hear a lot of people saying the market is going down, this and that. I'm like, market's not really going down.
Not in Florida.
It's just not in Florida. It's just what I tell everyone is, and this happens to me too. Like I go and try to list a house, and the seller's like, "Well, it's worth $1 million." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not worth $1 million. It's worth 700,000."
Yeah.
But they want it listed for $1 million. So what you're seeing is a lot of agents, so that they don't lose the listing, they'll list it at whatever the seller wants, and then with time they have to start lowering the price. This is not COVID, where you could list a house for a crazy amount of money and you were going to get it. That's not the same amount of buyers that we have right now, because not everybody qualifies with the higher rate, right?
Yeah.
So that's just what you're seeing, is just people still overpricing the homes and expecting to get that. And after time passes, they notice they can't get it, so they have to lower the price back to what it's really worth. So that's what we're seeing. And that's where the confusion comes. The market's going down. It's not going down.
Yeah, correct. I feel like that pricing is high because a lot of people make between 50 to 70,000 in like somewhere like Orlando. 50 to 70,000. How much house does that get you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get you much unless you have a cosigner.
Yeah.
You're going to probably need a cosigner. Like, let's say you make about 60,000 a year. It's good income, you know, and you could most likely purchase by yourself, but you need to have very little debt, which is not what we see.
Yeah.
That we see, you know, 60,000 income with 2 car payments and credit cards and personal loans and student loans, and that's what hurts you, you know. So if you were, you know, 60,000 and you have 1 car and you pay $300 to $400, then you're fine. But I've seen a lot of cases where you make 60,000 a year, you're paying $1,000 for a car. That's close to half your income.
Yeah.
So that automatically starts lowering your possibilities of buying.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I see it and I'm like, a lot of the houses that, you know, you guys hear calls, I'm there, I'm in the background. It's a lot of out-of-towners, people that are coming from New York money,
yeah. That's
California
the market
money.
we're in.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say, but it's going to become only harder for Central Florida locals, people that actually live in Florida, that work in Florida, to be able to buy homes.
Yeah.
Unless you have 2 to 3 people on a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to, and I've seen this, you know, I've held families where there's 5 people on a mortgage to be able to purchase. And they all have decent jobs. But again, the cars, the debts, it's just all a variation of situations. So it is unfortunate to say, but it is becoming not a locals market. It's mostly, yesterday I got 4 leads in one day. 1 was from Massachusetts. 2 were from New York. 1 was local.
Yeah. And I hear that as a videographer, as being with you guys, I hear the trend. It's not the locals really calling. They're even priced out of St. Cloud. And that's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. No, it's People don't want to listen. People don't want to hear. People are like, oh, we're just going to wait till the market crashes. I'm like, listen, if you wait for that, the Northerns and the Californians are going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in, and the same thing that happened during COVID is going to happen. They'll do 50,000 above, 100 grand above. And I want to tell you something. It's not very far from reality that this is soon to be coming. If the governor of Florida does remove the property taxes, I think this is going to become crazy. Because everyone's buying power is going to increase. Because remember, when you buy a home, you have 5 payments on your mortgage. You pay your principal, your interest, your mortgage insurance, your homeowner's insurance, and then your property taxes. Now you're out of those 5 things, you're eliminating one. So it opens up the possibility, because property taxes a month, you're looking at $300 to $500 a month. Now those $300 to $400, $500 a month can go towards your principal, which give you a higher possibility to buy, which a lot of people will qualify for more, but then the market opens up to more people, where right now, if you you have better chances of negotiating, you have better chances of, getting a better deal. Then when everybody can qualify, then it becomes a seller's market. Now the seller doesn't have to help you. You figure it out. Now it's what I want. You want my house, you pay me what I want.
So we're in a buyer's market now.
Right now is a buyer's market, 100%.
Got it. So the sellers basically have to cover all kinds of things just to get you
right now. Even with the new law, I can tell you that the sellers are still paying commissions. The sellers are still paying closing costs. The sellers are still lowering the prices of the homes. I just submitted an offer on a $675,000 home for $650,000 with 3% in closing costs, and it got accepted. So it's still a buyer's market. There's still deals out there. But they will go away if this turns back into a seller's market.
I mean, it's going to. The same way COVID was a seller's market, where everybody was trying to sell their house
100%.
for ridiculous prices, and there was just no houses anywhere else. So
no. And I have a client that says, well, every 20 years the market crashes. I'm like, listen, you may be right, you may be wrong, but right now, I don't see this market crashing. People need to understand that what happened in 2008, it's not necessarily going to happen again, because after 2008, the banks put so many more conditions for you to be able to buy a home. People need to remember that in 2008, you didn't even need a job to buy a house. You didn't need income to buy a house. Like, it was inevitable. What happened was just inevitable. Like right now, you need 2 years of work history. You need 2 years of employment. You need enough income, because you need to be under 50.9 on an FHA with debt, under a 45 or 50 conventional with debt. So there's so many more precautions and things that have been implemented to prevent the market from ever crashing. There's mortgage insurance. There's so many more things that 2008 didn't have. So I was just going at it with a client of mine that he's an investor from Puerto Rico. He has over 80 homes, but he usually buys them cash, right? In Puerto Rico, I'm like, it's not the same market. Over here, it's going to cost you a lot more, but you're going to make a lot more off of only one house.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, you're right. I see it. But it takes time for a lot of people to understand we're not crashing. There might be a correction, but I think that already happened. Right now, what you're seeing is, what we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
What other questions you got?
Is there too many realtors? Is that bartenders give up, they go become a realtor?
I think everybody believes, and this is something I was actually thinking about this week. And listen, I encourage anybody to become a realtor if you want to. Yeah. There is a lot of them. I think there's business for a lot of them, but I also believe in human nature, and I don't think everyone's cut to be a realtor.
No, absolutely not.
I will say that just because it's not easy. A lot of people think, oh, it's easy. I work my own hours. No, you don't. No, you freaking don't. Like, you work when you're starting in real estate. If you really believe you're going to work your own hours, you're not going to be able to close anything. You need to, when you start, you're working for the client, right? You're at the client's time frames. You're at the client's like, oh, I can only meet after 6, and you got to meet after 6. So you ain't going to be home chilling. No, you got to go and meet after 6 because you need it, right? after you build a reputation, after you build like a business, it's going to get to a point where, yeah, the tables are going to switch, you know?
Yeah.
But right now, when you're starting, you have no freedom. You have no flexibility. I've been doing this for 10 years and the market changes, right? And right now,
Yeah.
I'm on my client's time. Oh, you could talk at 10? We'll talk at 10. Oh, you could talk at 1? We'll talk at 1. Oh, it's at 5:30? Okay, I'll be with the little one, but I got 30 minutes, you know? So it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you're not open to talking to people at all times when you need it, then you may or may not be closing the same amount of deals that you need to survive.
Yeah. Because I get a lot of realtors that inquire for video services, but they don't sell like the regular realtors that I have. There are ones that are like, they work from sunrise to sunset and they're nonstop. And then there's realtors where I call like part-time realtors.
And they want to better their situation and they want to make $600,000 a year and they want to do this and they want to do that, but then you're working 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
What are you doing for the rest of the time? Oh, you're a mom? Well, so do I. Oh, I gotta take the kids to this. Well, so do I.
Yeah.
You gotta figure it out. You know, when my son is playing baseball or football or whatever, I'm there. But if I get a call, I'll take the call. That doesn't mean that I'm worse of a mom because I'm taking a call. He's playing. He's practicing. Yeah. I'm there. He knows I'm there. He's getting the validation that he needs. Mom's here. You know, mommy's on a call. Oh, we're in the car and we're talking and I get a call. Papi, give me 5 minutes. Let me take this call. And like, it's just how you manage things. But you need to be available. And it is stressful sometimes. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's days that I'm just like, I want to explode. But my son knows it. Like, it's like, okay, mama, I'm just going to. And he just takes his corner, does what he got to do. Doesn't bother me. But I think it's a lot of how you manage it. And I just don't think everybody's cut for it. Especially like you said, every bartender turns into
a realtor. Yeah, that's the next thing in the bio. Bartender, realtor. And that's what I see, and a lot of it is the work ethic. It's like all the realtors that I see that have been successful almost work Saturday, Sunday, every single day, every single minute. They're available for the client at 11 p.m. If the client needs to call, they will answer that call versus it's not something you think, oh, I'm just going to work 20, 30 hours here and there and it'll come.
It's hard. Listen, when I was 7 months pregnant that I decided to go from wholesaling into retail, selling regular houses to family, I was 7 months pregnant. I was working from 9 to 9 at the office. I would close the office. I was the last one in. I was the first one in, last one out. And right now I see a lot of the successful agents in that office. They do that. They're working there all 7 days. They're at the office from beginning to end. Like, it's your own business. It's going to give you as much as you give it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one thing I noticed about the successful realtor. They are working to death versus the ones that are not.
100%.
It's a variable that I've looked at over the 2 years that we've been working together. It's like, yeah, all the successful ones are working themselves to death. And I mean, there's unlimited growth potential in your 100%. Business. There's unlimited, but it's all driven by you. You are your own boss. If you're not motivated, this is not the
No, it's not going to work. And not only that, it's a very challenging industry. There's a lot of competition. And there's a lot of agents that you're going to come across that know what they're doing. And you're going to come across a lot of agents that don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And you got to deal with all of them. You know, I've come across brokers that don't know what they're doing. And I have to come, I'm like, listen. And they get mad at me. You were on the call. Yeah. You were on the call. You know, I was just on a situation where it was a difficult deal. You were right there in the car. And I'm like, didn't she just say that? I literally asked the broker, what was it about? It was about the addendum. It was an addendum that we needed. We were during inspection period. And I'm like, well, I need the addendum back. Because this is inspection, has nothing to do with the appraisal. So she's telling me, well, the sellers are not going to sign anything until we have an appraisal. I'm like, two different things. Like, one thing has nothing to do with the other. But if that's the way you want to play it, that's fine. She's like, well, you know what? Just send me the release and cancellation. And I asked her, are you making this decision for your clients? What was her answer?
You don't remember? I remember the exact call. I was sitting there like deer in headlights, and I remember her answer was like, "Oh, I already had talked to the client.
No, at first,
yeah,
her answer was yes.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, as a broker, you should know that we're not allowed to to answer for our clients. You're supposed to go talk to her and let me know what they think. That's when she lost it. And then she said what you just said.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had already talked to her. I'm like, how did you know what question I was going to ask you? It's just one of those things where like, did you really talk to her? Or are you the one really advising your client not to do this? Which is also wrong, because our jobs as realtors is to get the deal to closing by protecting both parties, but not by advising them incorrectly.
yeah.
So, but you see that a lot. And
Yeah.
it happened to me with another broker in the coast. Like there's a lot of brokers that I feel that don't know what's going on. They don't even understand the contract. And that's a problem. There's a lot of agents out there that be doing the contract, but also don't know what the contract says or how to protect their clients or how to get them out of a tight situation. There's at least 7 ways you can cancel that contract and get your client's escrow back.
They don't know it.
And nobody knows it. A lot of people don't know it. I know it. I've taken the time. I've learned the hard way. But I know the ways to get somebody out of a contract no matter what. Does every other agent? Probably not. It's not just about selling the houses. It's not about just negotiating the deal at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's to protect your client throughout the whole transaction. And I think that's what we're not seeing with this influx of realtors that have just joined and they're just like trying to survive and sell homes. But I expect from a lot of conversations we've had with professionals and industry leaders, about 10 to 15% are going to fall off in the next couple of months.
Like realtors? Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a very tough market, honestly.
It is tough.
Yeah, I see it. I hear it. I see it. And I'm like, yeah, if you're not here to like really, really, really get out of it, you're not going to make it. You're just
Yeah,
gonna be doing
100%.
something else. You're going back to bartending.
Yeah.
You're going back to bartending.
Funny thing is, I wanted to be a bartender when I was like starting, like out of high school, out of college. And then I also wanted to be a waitress, and I couldn't get neither job.
Wow, really?
I couldn't get neither. I never got hired for a waitress, never got hired for a bartender. So I just went into sales right away, which is a blessing in disguise. But I just think it's interesting.
It wasn't meant to be. How do you deal with conflict with other realtors? Like a realtor, you guys get into some kind of discussion. It could be some kind of agreement or something. How do you deal with that kind of conflict?
Listen, we're all human. I've handled conflicts well in the past, and I know I've also handled them wrong. But I guess it came from frustration, deception, and I came from that. And I guess I could have handled the situation better, but I didn't. I don't regret it, because I think at that point in time, everyone's true colors come out. And it's just one of those things, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I've made mistakes. And how do I handle it? I will confront whoever the situation's with. But I've learned with time that I'm either going to get stuck in it, or I'm just going to better my situation and just move on, start clean.
Yeah.
Which is what I've done many times. I also think people sometimes don't react properly to situations because they're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of like things that you can't explain. So there's no excuses, but I think there's a lot of factors that will influence how you handle a controversial situation. There's times I've done it right. There's times I haven't done it right.
Well, we're humans. I mean, even in my dance world, we have the same conflicts, and I've handled many of them horribly wrong, and some of them great. Like, we all have a fluctuation of emotions. If you catch someone in the wrong day, it's gonna be much worse than if you catch somebody in a good day, and you can clearly think about the situation.
Yeah, and the thing with real estate, I don't know in the dance world, but you can add to it. I think in real estate, people kind of lose their focus. It stops being, and again, everybody has a different reason why they do real estate. I do real estate because I like to help people, and I give it my all, which is why when something happens, it hurts maybe more than than if it was maybe another situation. But I feel like people in real estate, like realtors, they lose focus and it starts becoming about the money. It starts becoming about power. It becomes about a facade. You know, now with social media, you could be whatever you think, whatever you say you are. But are you really?
Yes.
Like, are you really who you say you are is the question.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of those things where, like, I do feel like a lot of people and this is across the board. Like, it's not a specific person, just in case. This is across the board. I feel like people, it just becomes about money. And it also depends on your situation financially, how you are, especially in this market. You see people's true colors.
Yeah.
Like, the claws come out.
Well, yeah, that's what money does to things anywhere. I feel
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you sell cars or you sell clothing or anything.
Yeah.
Eventually, the power gets to your head and the money gets to your head.
Yeah, the problem is we're in an industry of serving people.
Yeah.
We're in an industry of helping. So when that situation happens, I believe it becomes more visible to the consumer or to other agents around. And that's why I believe real estate agents have actually a really bad reputation. That's why you hear a lot of clients say, well, you just want to sell me a house to make your money.
Yeah.
But then again, does a buyer really understand the money that we make? Because if you buy a new construction, think about it. And I'm going to make a $10,000 commission. And you're building this new construction. It took me at least 6 months to get paid. So how much did I really get paid per month? That's less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I'm just getting a lump sum. But if I'm an agent that only helps 10 families a year, I'm not even making it.
No.
This is a volume business. You
Right.
need more than one, and that's when you start making money. But in order for you to handle more than one client, people need to trust you. So that's kind of where, like, I think some agents give a bad reputation to the whole industry because of the money hungry situation that a lot of people talk about. But it's not, we don't really make that much. Real estate agents don't really make that much unless you're selling a lot. Because you get, I've known getting paid $10,000, $15,000 in one closing and it being gone in 24 hours because I had to pay everything that I couldn't pay last month because I didn't have a closing.
Oh, I know.
Like, so are you really getting paid that much?
Yeah, correct. And that's why I always see it when I tell people the same way as the previous question. It's like, you can't think you're going to come into real estate and make a bunch of money and then it's going to be handed to you.
It doesn't work.
No, unless you're selling multiple houses a month, you're going to be a starving realtor.
I think you need to sell in order for you to really better your life and your situation and for you to really see the money. I think a realtor needs to be selling minimum 2 to 3 houses a month.
I agree.
Minimum. If you're selling one house a month and you're not really closing, if you're not closing one house a month, then you're not making your meat in.
Yeah.
It's not, how are you paying your stuff? Because if you sell one house, but then let's say in January you sold the house, you closed it in February, but the February house that you sold doesn't close till July. Now you got to sell another one in February that could close in March. So again, it's not what people think. Let's just say that. It is good, but there's also a lot of expenses. I have to pay my videographer. I got to pay my editor. I got to pay my VAs. I got to pay my broker. I got to pay my broker fees. I got to pay my MLS fees. I got to pay.
And that's the part that you don't realize, the things you have to pay for. Because you think, oh, I'm getting $6,000-$7,000 in commission. And then once you pay for you got to pay for your marketing, all that stuff that comes just to get the lead. And you're basically surviving.
Yeah, like my expenses for my business right now a month, just for the business, between you, editor, employees, showings or whatever, marketing, follow-up boss, website, all those little things. Right now, my expenses a month are around $7,000.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
So if I sell one house and I close a $10,000 house, what I really made is $3,000.
Yeah.
And then out of the $3,000, out of that $10,000, I still got to pay my broker. So I didn't even make $3,000. I made a lot less than $3,000. So again, that's what people don't realize. It's not that we're making 10, 20, 30,000. It's how much we're putting back into the business to keep the business going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. As a business owner for my videography thing, I put back into it as well, but mine's is more like one fixed giant expense, and then from there it just accumulates itself back. But you guys, it never stops.
No, it
just
can't
never
stop.
stops. It just never
Especially
stops.
with the trends changing. You know, I've never been into social media. I had an Instagram, I had a Facebook, I had all these things, but they were for personal use.
Yeah.
Now I've had to transition that whole thing into business, because even though my referral business is still strong, it's still good, I need volume.
Yeah.
I don't live by one referral or two referrals a month. I need 5 clients a month, 6 clients a month, and I need to close 5 to 6 deals a month to be able to be profitable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because besides the business expenses, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay your car, you got to pay the kids' school, you got to pay. People don't understand that.
Yeah, you do. You have to pay a lot of things. There's a lot of expenses. Yeah.
Yeah, with a business like this, you have a lot less time. It's not what people say that you have a lot more time. Listen, an hour or the 2 hours that I could be spending right now cleaning my house, I can't do that. I have to pay somebody to come clean my house because I got to be out there showing homes or making content or doing something to make more money.
Yeah.
So I have to spend more to make more.
Yeah, and your time is extremely valuable, so you cannot waste those 1 to 2 hours cleaning. You just can't. I mean, even preparing food is a chore. Like, you have to go cook. That's an hour, 2 hours doing the dishes. You can't spend that time because you have to go and be in meetings, close deals, be ready to take whatever
Travel all the
you're
world.
doing.
So how many times do I go to Miami?
More often now.
More, once a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's gas, that's time. Then that's what just people don't understand. And listen, I'm not telling anybody don't get into real estate. Get into real estate, but just know what you're getting yourself into. It's not peaches and cream. You know, it's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to get a client easily. No, it doesn't work. I know agents that work really, really hard and they still haven't been able to close a client. And it's not because of them, it's because of the market. The type of clients that are coming right now are the clients that need more help, that you need to fix the credit, that don't have any money. And those are going to be your local clients most of the time.
Yeah.
And they just need time. They need help. They need time. So it's going to take you time to prepare them. And that's what people don't consider too. Yeah, I'm going to sell you a house and make $10,000, but it took me 3 months to prepare you, another 2 months to close the house. Sometimes it's taken me a year or 2 to prepare a client. So by the time that we're closing, I lost money.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even cover my hourly rate, even if it was $10 an hour.
Yeah.
So that's just something to think about.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about because, man, it's tough. I see it. I know it. That's why I'm staying in my lane. A lot of people are like, you should become a realtor. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think you're really good at what you do, you know?
I love what I do.
I know you do. And I know, like anybody, like sometimes you've gotten tired of it because you've made it known to me. I just don't let you quit on me.
No.
Ever.
I'm not quitting on you.
You tried.
I try.
You tried a couple times.
I try to quit all the time, actually. I quit like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, but
And
no, it's
whine
not.
like a child. I'm like, no, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Tired of getting up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, but you ain't quitting on me. So, but that's one of those things. And that the same thing happens in real estate. You think, I don't wake up some days and be like, oh, I wish I could do something else. But then
Yeah.
I'm not going to get the rewards that I've built now. You know, it's been 10 years, so it's different. It's not like I'm starting right now. I would have to start all over on any other industry that I go to. And right now I think I'm not in the place I want to be 100%, but I'm very close.
Yeah.
So you just got to push a little harder. Don't give up till you get where you want. And then the rest is just peaches and cream, but not at the beginning.
Yeah. How has social media changed the whole realtor thing? Like,
That's what I was talking about.
yeah. So how, like, I see it. I feel like if you're not on social media, you're not even going to survive anymore. Like before you could have gone just cold calling, had your little team of people just calling. Now it's like you have to be in front of a camera.
Do. So social media has become credibility. So how many followers you got, how many views you get, it's become like, oh, then you must be good, versus just being a referral. So I used to just get all my referrals, and this happened to me, you know. Again, you could say so many things through social media and people will believe you. They don't know if it's real or not. And there are agents out there saying stuff, portraying stuff that may or may not be real. And sometimes you've seen clients kind of go that route because that person has thousands of followers, or that person seems like they know what they're doing. So it's been very challenging, especially for somebody like me. Like I'm not a social media person. I'm doing well. You know, I just got to 13,000 followers. I've put a lot of money into it. I've been filming a lot. I've been doing a lot of things, and I'm really trying it. But it's just become even more superficial in real estate than what it already was. You know, with social media, yeah, it's great. It's a great way to make leads. But again, there's a lot of factors that will kind of vet those leads. So like, are they good leads or are they not so good leads? And you're going to get a mixture. Again, it all depends on how you run your social media. But 100% social media, it's like more important than a website right now.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, I could see that as well. It's how they find you. It's the best way.
Yeah.
They see your face. You can talk to them. They can get to know you a little bit without even really meeting you almost.
100%. I've had clients ask me a whole consultation through DM. And I'm like, can we meet through Zoom? Oh, I'm more comfortable on DM. I'm like, well, I need to be able to talk to you like a person. So it's just, the world's changing. Everything's changing. You kind of have to change with it if you want your business to survive. It has not changed 100% the way I do business or the way I portray myself, because I still do a lot of networking. I still like to connect with my clients. I still stick to my roots, but I still have to do social media.
Yeah, I get it. I think everyone needs to do social media. I tell everyone. That's why I love the part of my business, because you can sell anything online. You need to be on a camera.
Yep.
And you have to be here like we are now to be able to sell services, provide a service, show a house, show a home. You can show a $2 million apartment in Miami to someone in Dubai and they've never met you, and it hits their algorithm and boom, you made a sale.
There's clients I've never met.
Yeah.
Like there's clients that will reach out to me through social media or a referral. I never met them in person.
Yeah.
They closed on their home. They're happy. They send me people. It's just one of those things. Like social media is a very, very powerful tool if you're going to use it correct. All right, Daniel. Well, thank you for all your questions and, you know, everything that you had to say. I think it's a good conversation, a good topic. I think a lot of people have some of the questions that we answered, and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Hey, we had to do it at some point. It was a perfect day to do it.
I know.
I was like, you know what? Let's me jump on camera and ask some questions over here. I got some good ones. So
Perfect. So, I mean, thank you, and I hope we could do it again.
yes, we will.
All right. Well, guys, if you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you subscribe and like the video. Any real estate questions that you have or any real estate advice that you're looking for, make sure you put it on the comments below. Till the next one.